Hello, everyone, and welcome if you are new. I am the Apocrypha, and it is a pleasure to meet you. I hope you'll consider joining this soul family that we have going on here. Now, if you are returning, welcome back, soul family. Thank you so much for being here. I love you guys. I appreciate you always. As always, disclaimers, information, and decks are in the description box down below if you are interested. Please have a look if you are new, at least at the disclaimer, so you can have an idea of how a tarot reading works. And as always, thank you all for being here so very much. I really, truly, deeply appreciate each and every single one of you guys. I just want to start it off differently, some Palo Santo, because, sometimes just fucking need it. Excuse the mess now. So I'm just going to move this. I think I'll just put it there. Ashes everywhere. Okay. So I really hope that everyone has been okay. I really hope that everyone has been safe despite struggling times, no matter what country you're from or what society you're from, what state you're in, no matter your color, your race, your religion, your sexual orientation, no matter who you are. I'm wishing you, I'm wishing you the best. I hope that you come into alignment with your true path and that you find happiness. Everyone deserves happiness. Everyone deserves to speak their mind. And let's see. I feel like this deck in particular wants to be used today. So let's see what messages come through today. So we have the Ace of Cups upright, the King of Wands in reverse, Temperance, and the Seven of Pentacles in reverse, as well as the Nine of Swords in reverse under the deck. Okay? So let's see here. There's definitely a situation here that you are healing from in regards to someone. You're learning to love yourself. You're learning to stand in your own power, to give yourself love, to have hope, clarity, to have healing, to believe in spirit. With all of these stars making me think of having hope, like the Star card. But it's also very healing, like Temperance, like all of this water that we see, despite its angry feeling right now, despite how turbulent the waters are, we see this woman here, the sea nymph, that is peaceful. She's peaceful, she's standing in her power, she's graceful. And behind her is the moon, so it's like there may be secrets and things that she understands, that she knows, but she has come to peace with. Despite her emotions, despite the distractions, despite the difficulty in the situation going on, she is choosing to see the truth for what it is and to try to move the clouds away. This King of Wands in reverse is telling me that there's a situation that you are learning from that has made you feel disempowered at some point. But you're learning to take this situation and flip it into a positive, to where you're able to learn from it and grow from it, where you're able to have faith and choose to move forward in a more peaceful manner. 5 is a number of change, so you are choosing to aim towards your happiness. That is something that has changed, where you were choosing to please someone else and make them happy at your own expense in certain ways. I feel at times there were things that you guys may have disagreed upon. This could be a work situation. There may have been situations where you don't see eye to eye, where you disagree, and you're choosing to accept the truth for what it is, accept the situation for being what it is, and instead you're choosing to take your power back and heal. You're choosing to instead work on the things that it is that you want to work on, the stability that you have been wanting to create for yourself, the independence that you have been wanting to create for yourself. But it has been dangerous work. You see, all of these gremlins here, their work is very dangerous. They're here walking right near these cogs, these giant cogs. There's one just sitting there. Like there's one playing around, just holding on. Like the nature of what they are doing is quite dangerous. One slip and they could literally be crushed. And it's like, I feel you're coming to this understanding where you don't want to feel like you are in this state of danger for putting your pentacles in giving to a situation, in planting the seeds. You don't want to feel like it's going to sprout into something dangerous or something where you don't understand the situation anymore, because it may involve many other people. It may involve a business or something. If you hear kitty sounds, it is a kitty. She's outside the door. That one is Kiki. I digress. Let's see what else we get. With this 9 of Swords in reverse, it is definitely saying that you are choosing to move forward and not to hold on to what makes you feel unease, what makes you feel confused, what makes you feel like a rusty cog. Justice in reverse. There's a situation that you feel has been unbalanced. But we see with this Valkyrie has taken the life and this energy of this soldier. It's like, but it's kind of like what I was saying about taking your power back. But there's in this depiction with the moon, we see the clouds that are more in the way, and her eyes are closed, but this nymph's eyes are closed too. It's like you're choosing to take your power back, but there's something that you're not quite seeing. 8 is about cycles. The number 8 is about cycles. Libra is about balance. You're choosing to, instead of falling back into patterns of taking, like giving your power away, you're choosing to take it back, and you want to remain in this energy from now on. You don't want to teeter-totter. You don't want to take a step back to where you overgive again. So I feel there's this kind of guardedness around you, or where you may be actually taking more than you think, or you may have. Now there's also her staff here. It has this ribbon, and this ribbon, the way that it looks, is making me think of the caduceus, which the caduceus is like the symbol that we see to symbolize like medical. It's like the cross with the snake and the wings, which is also associated with Kundalini energy, in my opinion. I associate the two with each other. Both, when in balance, are meant to heal. But when they're out of balance, it does create this feeling of distortion. Because if we're not in balance with ourselves, then we tend to project that. And that's not just us, that's everyone in general. So it's saying you're trying to find balance in a situation where you're trying to take your power back. Let's see what these two cards are. The Page of Swords in reverse and Judgment. You feel like if there was a situation where someone didn't come forward to you with some truth, it's like they're like a chicken with their head cut off. If they're not coming with some truth, like, you're putting an end to it. You're choosing to not wait around for someone who can't make up their mind. So I feel like the Justice card is you making up your mind, you choosing your path. With this Cerberus here, this Judgment card, 1010 might be a significant number to you. The Page of Swords is also this Libra. This is Gemini. Look, there's Death in reverse underneath the deck. So you are trying to end a situation that you have still been feeling emotional about, or that there's still something in regards to this situation that you're not seeing clearly. You may be kind of reacting in a vicious way in regards to someone or something in your life at the moment. It has been very difficult for you to end a situation that you feel is no longer in alignment with you. And if this message is resonating with you so far, you may want to consider watching, one of my previous messages, one of my previous readings where we actually got in deep with some personal shit. And I was sharing some of my experience of what's going on during this Scorpio full moon, and a situation that I chose to end. In reality, it was something that has ended before I made that decision. It was something that I was holding on to. And I just got, this here is making me think of a lanternfish. A lanternfish, because it's a deep sea fish where it is dark. Most fish down there are either blind or, they're the kind of fish that they may be see-through, but they are very lit up. Like they have lights, like a lanternfish. It emanates a light from this little dangly thing that it has in order to lure in its prey, like a moth to the flame. And there's something in regards to that. You may have felt like a moth to the flame in regards to someone or something. You may have felt like you had no decision, that you're just going with what has been handed to you. But there's this viciousness. So perhaps there's this bitterness. So for example, in my situation of what it is, this connection that I finally decided to let go of, I came off like very harsh. I'm not saying to this person, but if you watch my reading, the dead that shit, then you'll see what I mean. There's something that you're still holding on to. Perhaps is this bittersweet feeling. And I mentioned that this bitter part of this bittersweet is the problem. There's still some bitterness, perhaps, that you may feel. You, again, may have felt like a moth to the flame, like, what was the situation really? But deep down inside, it was a lesson for you. Death doesn't come up until it is time. It is time. And that's the point. Death doesn't just show up at your door just because. Death comes to your door when it is time for a transformation. And death is knocking at your door. And I feel like you have deeply been feeling this, but in a way it's making you feel guarded. Oh yeah, definitely. It's making you feel guarded, where you're lacking in love, or you're feeling like you need to protect your heart. We see all of these snakes here in this Gorgon. With the Five of Pentacles, this Shaman card is saying that you felt left out in the cold, but at the same time, you're choosing for that to hold you back. It's holding you back because there's still more healing that is trying to come through. The Six of Wands is about victory, but it's in reverse. So it's like you feel, and with the Judgment and the Justice in reverse, a situation didn't happen the way that you wanted it to, and you may still be a little bitter about it. There still may be some difficulty, something that you're learning, and I feel like this lesson is definitely a big lesson. Oh. The Page of Wands, the Necromancer. With the Five of Swords in reverse. Interestingly enough, the Page of Wands is right underneath the King of Wands in reverse. So it's like you're seeing a situation for being I don't know why I want to say a little less than what it was. I feel like in order to spare yourself a little bit, in order to make it a little easier on you, you're trying to lessen the value of this to some degree, when in fact it was a great lesson. And it's like you know that it is a great lesson. But I feel like there's this essence that you're downplaying it in order for it to be easier. But don't get caught up in that. You need to be honest with yourself. And like the tower, acknowledge like all the aspects of it, of what has crumbled and what has fallen. You wouldn't have to resurrect something that didn't die. But at the same time, you know how we had that death card that came up earlier, it was in reverse. And it's like you're trying to revive something that has died. There may be that sense. Be careful that you don't fall back into the pattern of trying to revive the dead. Let the dead rest in peace. Like, learn from the dead, honor the dead, grieve the dead, in order for you to progress. There's no need to bother the dead. In this regard, you have learned some lessons, but it's like there's this essence within you that is still desiring a resurrection. But the Five of Swords in reverse is telling you to make to stick with the decision to walk away. Because in the original depiction of the Five of Swords, there's a guy in the foreground holding 3 swords. Behind him to the side is 2 swords on the ground, and further behind that, in the background, is someone who's walking away with their back turned towards the foreground, right? And so with this in reverse is telling me that you have made your decision. You should stick with that decision. But you're fighting it. There's this aspect of you that wants to fight it. The Six of Cups is about a reunion. So again, it's that feeling that you want to resurrect something that has died, perhaps. Then you need to ask yourself, why has it died? If you find yourself teeter-tottering between a decision you have already made and going back, you need to ask yourself why. Why is this so important to me that I want to go back? But the truth is, if you have left a cycle that was not right for you, then you should leave that cycle in the past. But the Gorgon came out again. But upright this time, and Leviathan came up last time. Oh yeah, look, the exact same cards as earlier came out again. The Queen of Cups, but this time upright. The Death card, but this time upright. The Judgment card, this time in reverse. And the Six of Wands, this time upright. So I do feel like it is saying to hold how can I say? Your emotions are valid, right? how we feel is valid. How we respond is not always in the best of ways. And I'm feeling that you are trying your hardest to not be guarded. In particular, because this is the Queen of Cups. Of all the suits, the Cups is about emotions. And so I can see that there's this fighting essence within you. This essence of like bitterness. You know, with the snakes, they're like hissing, they're upset, they're hungry. But I feel like you're trying to calm that. Trying to not allow yourself to fall back into some old patterns. You're trying to grow like ivy or like these kind of plants that these vines, right? They're vines. They grow up and out. They definitely are plants that travel. Because when they grow, they take over. And so, I see that you're trying to maneuver around. You're trying to learn what you can about the situation. But make sure that you're not missing the steps that you need to analyze. With this death card coming to your door, the death card is saying like, okay, this situation, you know, it went astray, went wrong in ways, but the death card is reminding us of our contribution to that ending, right? That is what I feel. The death card is reminding us, like, remember, things go both ways. Of course. I just want to make it clear. You know, for example, if you did watch that reading, I'm not trying to make it seem all one-sided. I feel like that might be an essence of what it is speaking about. My intention is not to make things one-sided. I admit when I'm wrong, and I admit there are things that I say or do that have been wrong and contributed to difficulties and challenges and blockages, right? Because I keep feeling the blockage of heart. Being twisted in our own ways, choosing to unravel that, but to be gentle is difficult. There's 3 black candles here, and then this is 13, so X and 3. 33 might be a significant number to you. We have 4. 4 is about stability. We must learn our lessons in order for us to pay our dues, so to speak. To learn our lessons. To stand in that stability. And trying not to be so harsh. But knowing that this is a part of the process and why you have been, you know, coming to victories, little victories in your life, is because you acknowledge this. You understand this. And this is saying to make sure that you don't forget. If you want to keep having, these little victories, you have to keep remembering that life is a journey meant to evolve. And as long as you remain in that mind frame of evolution, admitting your wrongs, admitting your faults, and choosing to cut out what no longer serves you, not in a bitter way, but in a way that brings stability and balance. Not trying to resurrect something out of force, right? Leviathan, the Ten of Cups. Again, I'm sorry, there's more essence here of waters. I want to say murky waters, which is making me think back to the moons. With this confusion, this cloudiness, I feel like that you need to continue to go within and analyze further the situations that unfolded and why they unfolded in the way that they did. And I feel like you're honest with yourself when you do, but sometimes you distract yourself when you know that you should go in and delve deeper. But there's still aspects of you that is afraid, which is natural. We have the Six of Pentacles, Arachne. The story of Arachne is kind of sad to me. I could be getting the finer details a little incorrect, but I believe that she had an argument with I believe it was the Greek goddess. Starts with an A, I believe. Was it Diana? No. There was a Greek goddess that she had an argument with, this Greek goddess would weave tapestries, right? And Arachne wanted to challenge this goddess to see who could weave the best tapestry. Now, in the depiction of this Greek goddess's tapestry, she was showing, the great gods and the people in the way that she would see it. Arachne, I believe, weaved it in a way where she depicted the gods as enslaving the people. And so where she was showing that they were, taking advantage of their power, and that this Greek goddess didn't like it. Now, I could be getting the details wrong. Forgive me if I'm incorrect. I would always recommend do your own research. It's been a while since I've learned about this. But, so the Greek goddess didn't like the depiction of how she portrayed the gods to where all of the people could see. And some people believe that this Greek goddess turned Arachne into a spider out of jealousy, out of not liking what she had to say about the gods. My 2 cents in that is that, if there were a god or goddess to turn someone to a spider just because they're depicting truth of the, the negative sides, that's not right in my personal point of view. So what I'm saying here, what I'm seeing, is you know that you are the weaver of your own destiny. And whatever situation this is, they know that they're the weaver of their own destiny. But there's like this essence here of either you or this person or both have admitted faults of each other to where you guys kind of got bitter about it. There's this like finger pointing. Well, you did this. Well, you did that. Well, no one here is better than anyone else. Okay? So this is saying make sure, it's good to be honest. It's important to be honest, but don't forget to be honest with yourself. And they do say that Arachne came to this Greek goddess in a very kind of cocky manner. So I don't believe that's right either. I'm just putting my 2 cents in there based off of what I remember from this story. But the 6 of Pentacles is about sharing. It's about reciprocity. It is about equal give and take. So actually that does go with the message that I was saying, stop finger pointing. Acknowledge your wrongs, which I feel like you do. But to some degree, to some extent, you're still finger pointing. Okay? It's time to end that. We see these skulls here. It's time to end the well, he did this, well, she did that. If you keep doing that, that means you haven't learned your damn lesson. Excuse me. Because the whole point is not what he did, what she did. The whole point is, what have I learned? I learned not to be like this. I learned not to accept, people in my life who are going to treat me like this, but I'm not going to treat people like this. Just because someone reacts to a situation like this, I'm not going to react in this way because I did and that didn't work. It's asking to be honest and to bring honesty to the situation, to where you're seeing both sides equally. To where you see the reciprocity in this situation. To where a situation has ended, and I feel like you know this, not because of one side or the other, it's because you know that it was both sides. It takes 2. You cannot have a coin that is not double-sided. Whatever is on the back of that coin is still a coin, but it has both sides. It wouldn't be a coin otherwise. You see, one side may be no, and one side may be yes. There's like this teeter-tottering essence between this kind of bitterness and this healing. You're trying to heal bitterness. You're trying to heal whatever is lingering in your heart that is keeping you stuck. There's these blockages in your heart, and I feel like it's this kind of bitterness that you may be feeling, and it may be bittersweet. Focus on the sweet, not the bitter. Learn from the bitter, so that way you don't bitter again. I know that doesn't really make sense, but I hope you can get the essence of what I'm saying here. Learn from the bitterness, so that way you do not perpetuate cycles to continue, right? 10 is at the end of a cycle. However, you may choose to get back onto the same cycle or to move on to the next one. This is a very crucial moment where you have to make the dedicated change to hop on to the next part is what I'm feeling here, okay? You are the weaver of your own destiny, but you have to take responsibility for that. Be honest. I would say, I believe, be honest no matter the circumstances. You know, we have to be honest with ourselves no matter the circumstances. Even if it's something that we don't want to face within ourselves, or that we don't want to face about a person, a place, or a thing, we have to be honest. Why are we trying to resurrect something that is dead? What is it that we feel that we have given our power away to? What is it that you feel you have done wrong, that you want to right so much, that you want to resurrect it just so you can bring it up again? The Five of Wands is about arguments and fighting, so it's like there's this essence of letting go. Look, the Five of Wands again. That's like the third time, isn't it, in this reading? Let's see here. We have the Fool in reverse. So definitely there's a situation that you're struggling to move forward in. With this Fool card, there's a lot of staircases. And there's one that spirals down in this circular motion. So it's like the Fool is about making a dedicated decision to move forward and try something new. However, in the back of the mind, we see the spiral loophole that is keeping you stuck. And you're trying to face that. Two of Pentacles, you're trying to make the decision. Two of Swords. Two might be significant. You're struggling. Again, like I mentioned earlier, there's this back and forth energy. Two of Pentacles is about making a decision. Two of Swords is about making a decision. Pretty much, in essence, they're both kind of the same thing. But they're two different suits. One suit symbolizes the material plane, our physicality, finances, people around us, situations around us, people, places, things around us that are tangible. Now the swords symbolize thoughts, the mind. So with that, I feel like your physical being is choosing to decide to move forward, to aim towards what it is that you desire. But in your mind, there's this holding back. There's this fear here of the unknown, of the darkness. There's this fear here of what is dead will come back to haunt you in some way. The Chimera, there's a lot of imbalance, there's a lot of fighting, and I feel like there's this essence of something you may want to convey, but don't. Choosing to not move forward, but instead choosing, the cycle. If you have truly moved away from a person, place, or thing, a situation, then you would not be caught in cycles in your mind. Because once you have decided to move past it, move forward, then you will move forward. But if you're feeling stuck in some way, it's perhaps because you, in essence, there's still this little part of you that is holding on to something. Still. Let's see what card comes out last. It would be so cool if it was... You're trying to focus on what it is that will bring you stability. You're trying to get out of your mind. The King of Cups. Okay. The Knight of Cups. The Ten of Pentacles. The Star. I did mention the Star earlier. The Ace of Swords and the Four of Cups. Yeah, it's definitely this emotional instability in you that is making you feel a state of lack in your material world, where you're choosing to have faith and hope towards a situation. But when you're honest with yourself, when you get in your mind, that's when you don't see possibilities. And so you're then choosing at some point. It's hard for you to choose to move on, to accept something new. Because there's this essence that even though you have moved forward from a certain situation, person, place, or thing, you're guarded. Like, he has his hands crossed over his heart. He's still guarded. And this manticore, I'm sorry, the Minotaur. The Minotaur has a fist at his chest. So it's like you're trying to listen to the beat of your heart. You're trying to follow your heart, but it's difficult for you to follow it when you're guarded. And you want to be hopeful, you want to believe, and look, an 8 again. You want to move forward. This moon isn't clouded like the other two cards were. But this moon is in a full moon, so it's like there's this essence that you're not seeing the full picture. She's asleep. In her dreams, she's hoping. But in her waking life, it's like there's this clouded judgment. Clouded perception for some reason. It's like you're caught up in this maze of your mind. The Ace of Swords is about speaking your truth. It is about acknowledging the truth. It is about living in the truth. Despite whatever it is the truth. The Four of Cups in reverse is like, again, choosing to not see what's in front of you. It's like this essence of you that doesn't want to believe something has ended. So it's like there's a candle here trying to resurrect it. But we see the skull that's kind of lurking, kind of watching. This is interesting. The Four of Cups upright. Someone's leaning against a tree, sitting at the base of the tree, looking at 3 cups in front of them with their arms folded across. And there's this hand, this divine hand, trying to give a cup, but this person is not realizing it and not paying attention to it. So in reverse, this means that you're trying to pay attention to that. So perhaps some of you are still struggling with it, and some of you are coming to terms with it more and more, which is necessary. A necessity. It is necessary. If you have to do candle magic to continue to release, then do so, if you feel called to. In this card, the moon is full and it's not clouded at all. It is a clear sky with, actually it's not. It looked like a clear sky with, the tree's leaves covering the path, but no, it's clouded too. So your perception of something may be like you're seeing something very clearly, when in reality it's still cloudy. So there's still something that you're not seeing, even though you are trying your hardest to move forward, to progress. But you're standing your ground. You're choosing to stand your ground and to face the death of a situation. In the background, we see all of these clouds too, but it's like a sunrise or a sunset, because we see all this red between the blue. It's like this part of you that's still, again, this teeter-tottering, this hot, cold. In regards to something that you want, perhaps. Let's see. Career. You're trying to focus on your career. But I feel like make sure that it is something that you genuinely want to do, that you genuinely are happy to do and proud of yourself for doing. Don't feel stuck in a place where you hate your job. Then look for another one. And I understand times are difficult, but when there's a will, there's a way. If you really want to find something new, then you have to put yourself out there. You can't expect it to come to you so easily. And when you're in alignment with what you want, with what you believe, when you're following your truth, naturally doors are going to open up to you, but you still have to put yourself out there regardless. Just because a door opens up to you doesn't mean that all of a sudden you're just propelled through the door. You still have to walk up to the door. You still have to cross that threshold. You still have to put yourself in that situation to, I feel like you need to remember that you deserve happiness and that you don't deserve to be stuck in a situation, person, place, or thing, career, relationship, otherwise anything that will make you feel like unbalanced that will make you feel like you are lacking in stability. You want to have prosperity. You want to have this steady flow of happiness, right? We see all this yellow of happiness, of creativity, of passion, of motivation. But there's something about career here that may be affecting you in some way. Maybe you want to climb the ladder, so to speak. Maybe you want to get a higher position in your job. And you know that it's going to take time. Then you know you have to be patient. So there may be this essence of lacking in patience. But the only way to really have prosperity and to move forward, I saw 5445. Four is about stability and 5 is about change. 9, if you add them together, is close to 10, which is close to a cycle's end. You're trying to find the prosperity within yourself, and you're trying to build your bond, your connection with spirit. Like she's reaching above. And I feel like she realizes that when she is in flow, in a state of where she is in alignment with herself, whether you're male or female, that abundance, prosperity, protection, all of this will flow to you naturally. When you're doing what it is that you feel called to do in your heart. It is important to react, to use our mind, to find balance between logic and our intuition in ways. It's important for us to follow our intuition. Sometimes it may not always seem logical, but our intuition is what's going to bring us to the path of least resistance, because that's what will bring us to our truth. I hope I'm making sense here. Let's see. Truth. I have been mentioning about truth as well. Justice. Look, the Justice card came out again. I saw 5818. 8 cycles. 5 change. 1 to me is an amplifier. So it's like it's a lot of change that you have been going through in order to realize how you're going to move forward into this next chapter of your life. The truth is within you. You have to face yourself. You have to continue to go within. I feel like you have been wanting to, but there's this essence of fear still lingering. And honestly, you just have to push past it. It's hard, but that's necessary. And this, honestly, in this regard, I'm here with you too. There are aspects of myself that I have been facing, but when it comes to facing them in a much deeper way, it is scary, but you have to push past it. You're trying to find balance in your life between relationships, career, family, friends, yourself. everything in your life, you're trying to find balance. You're trying to find out what the truth is, what the truth of a matter is, and what it is that you truly desire. Keep asking yourself those questions. Keep delving deeper to find out the truth within you, because that's the only way that you're going to have the answer, is by going within and figuring that out for yourself. Conclusions are within reach. You're close to the end of a cycle. Surrender to the divine. That is like this essence here, reaching up into the universe, trying to gain clarity from it. It's like the clarity is within you, but what you're reaching for is actually being able to surrender. It's like when we think of surrender, we don't want to surrender because we feel like that takes away our free will. But that's not the point. That's not what it is. Surrender is like, let go of your fear, let go of your anxiety, let go of your judgment, let go of all of that. Surrender that to the divine, so that way you can truly reach for your happiness. Because all of that stuff, as we may think like, oh, that means that we're giving our free will to the divine if we're surrendering. No, that's not what it's saying here. It is saying to surrender your fear, to surrender your judgment, to surrender your holding back. Surrender what no longer serves you to the divine in order for you to reach your prosperity. You have to step out of your comfort zone by being bold and making the first move, if I can get it. Nothing is yet set in stone, and your commitment is being tested. You know, the divine is testing you to see, are you going to move to this next chapter of your life, or are you going to stay stuck? And we don't want you to stay stuck, but if you have to keep learning the lesson, then we're going to have to replay this. A fiery climax approaches. It's time to take action. We have Aries energy here. Your hard work is paying off. So it's like Spirit's seeing how hard you're trying, and Spirit's trying to push you to continue. For you to acknowledge your own strength and to stand strong in your power in a very not modest, but very balanced way. Does that make sense? Not in a cocky way, but in a way that is where you are humble. That's the word. In a very humbling way. We go through some shit so that we can learn from it, and so we could heal from it, so that we could be humbled by the experience. Be grateful for it. No matter what it was, it made you stronger. And if you really look deep within yourself, you'll realize that. And if you're saying no, then that's the problem right there. It's time for you to realize it as a blessing, as it was a test. But when you realize that, you're able then to take that power back, instead of saying like, well, fuck the universe because the universe put me through some bullshit. When in reality, we put ourselves through that bullshit. The universe is just testing us in a way to say, hey, are you going to snap out of it and realize that, you know, you have the power within you to create balance in your life? Surrender your problems to us. Focus on the prosperity. Focus on the truth. Focus on what you are trying to build for yourself. Do not focus on the lower level shit. When you want to level up in life, you have to let go of the baggage from the past. There's no way. to fly over encumbered. Let's see. Let's get one of these and let's end it with one of these cards. Acknowledge spirit. I trust in a higher source and I acknowledge my direct connection with it. You don't need a middleman. In the stillness, I listen for the wisdom inside, and I am open to the spirituality that is within and all around me. I know that love is the creative force. I meditate and welcome mystical truths. I am open to seeking guidance in my spiritual quest from a spiritual guru, teacher, or master. And I read that wrong. I flipped it, but okay. So it's saying to acknowledge your inner wisdom. That inner wisdom, that truth within you comes from source. Directly from source. It is not a middleman. Love is the creative force, and when you choose love over hate or spite or bitterness, that is when abundance really does flow to you, because you're not in resistance. Love is the most open emotion. Love is the highest vibration. Love can triumph any challenges when it is in balance and not distorted. So you need to find that love within yourself, give it to yourself, and share it with others. Like this rainbow, it circles the tree with all these butterflies and these birds. It's about transformation, it's about protection, it is about acknowledging the divine light within you that you are. Acknowledging the beauty that surrounds you and being grateful for the view. In hindsight, I'm sure there are things that back then you're like, oh my God, this is the end of the world, this is the worst thing I've ever experienced, and now you're able to be like, wow, I was just a kid thinking that was the worst, and I've at this point been through worse than that. It's saying that you are strong, and it goes to show every time that you learn a lesson from something, you are becoming stronger and you are becoming closer to your truth. When you are open and honest enough with yourself to admit when you're wrong, to see the light within you, not to compare yourself to others, but to see that everyone has their own light and that we are all this light. But we are all the dark too. So again, finding balance within yourself. Acknowledging that we all go through our shit. But what makes us who we are we able to balance this? Are we able to balance the scales and to be who we really are inside? To reflect on the outside what we are on the inside. Not to have a discrepancy between the two. Abundance. I am worthy and I deserve an abundance of anything that I require. I watch my thoughts to ensure that I am honoring and respecting myself. So be mindful of your self-talk. I honor myself by knowing that I am worthy to receive. I am open to receive now. I remind myself that it is a sign of strength to ask for help. It is. And the divine, your angels, your demons, your whatever it is that you want to say, your animal totems, they want you to ask for help. It is a strength But that doesn't mean to ask for help and expect them to do everything for you. It means to surrender what you have no control over and to choose to stand in your own power, to empower yourself, to remind yourself that you are strong. Grace. The grace of a higher power is with me, and I move through life knowing this truth. I believe in a higher power, and I know that it is within and all around me, offering assistance and guidance. I surrender all my fears and burdens to a higher power. I'm open to receive grace, and I trust in a higher power I am worthy. What this is saying here again is this surrender to the divine energy. What I was saying earlier, it doesn't mean to just surrender your free will. That's not the point. It means to surrender your fears, anxieties, and the blockages, right? And that's exactly what this here says. I surrender all my fears and burdens to a higher power. So this is a message twice for us to remember what surrender to the divine really means. And again, I'll say it again. It does not mean to surrender your free will. It doesn't mean to just give up on life and say, well, the divine will handle it. No, it means to meet the divine halfway. Surrender what you have no control over, the burdens, your fears. Don't be afraid. Surrender that in order for you to stand true in your power and in your strength. Okay? So I hope that this message resonated in a way that can help bring some clarity, some hope to your situation. Thank you all so very much for watching. I really, truly, deeply appreciate all of you, and I love you guys so much. You know, if you ever want to talk, I'm here. And I can't wait to see you in the next one. So, bye. Take care. Be good. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to other people. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye. Have a wonderful day.